Good day everyone. Today we're going to discuss about philosophical fields of study.
Philosophical fields of study. So philosophy studies human life, knowledge, values, and the world around us. It helps people understand truth, reality, and human experiences. Because philosophy is wide and deep, it is divided into different fields, and each field focuses on a specific question about life and existence. Orientation with other philosophical branches and concepts. First is cosmology. The term cosmology originated from the Greek word kosmos, which means world or universe, and logos, which means the study of. The question whether the world came into existence by chance or by divine command is a cosmological problem. Cosmology studies the origin and nature of the universe, including the space, time, and cause of events. Example, asking whether the universe was created by God or happened by chance in question in cosmology. Next is ontology. It studies existence and reality and asks what it means for something to exist and what is real. Example, questioning if thoughts are real or only exist in the mind in an ontological question. Psychology, philosophical psychology. Psychology, this is the science that deals with the science of mind, mental state, and processes. The philosophical concept psychology came from the Greek word psyche, which means soul, mind, and spirit, and logos, which means the study of. To the Greek, psychology is the study of the soul. Psychology studies the mind, soul, and behavior. In philosophy, it focuses on the soul and its relation to the body. Example, asking whether the soul exists separately from the body in a psychological question in philosophy.
So theodicy is a philosophical concept that explains the nature, existence, and goodness of God, especially in relation to evil and suffering in the world. It tries to answer why bad things happen if God is good and all-powerful. So like for example, God allows humans to have free will, so people can choose good or evil. So suffering happens because of wrong human choices, not because God is not good. So next, we have logic. Logic is a branch of philosophy that studies proper thinking and reasoning. So it uses objective, valid, reliable, and factual information to determine whether an argument is true or false. Like for example, if a student claims studying regularly improves exam performance. So logic requires evidence such as a test scores or research data to support this claim rather than relying on opinions or emotion. So there are two types of logic. So first, we have deductive logic. Deductive logic is a reasoning that moves from a general truth to a specific conclusion. If the premises are true, the conclusion is certain. So like for example, all humans are mortal. So Juan is a human. So therefore, Juan is mortal. So the second one is inductive logic. Inductive logic is reasoning that moves from specific observations to a general conclusion. The conclusion is probable but not guaranteed. So like for example, it rained every afternoon this week. So therefore, it will probably rain again tomorrow.
Semantics focuses on the study of language development by identifying and analyzing changes in meaning. It examines the meanings of words and linguistic forms, their functions, and how they relate to the other words. Semantics also explore how language and nonverbal symbols influence human behavior through critical analysis. The word semantics comes from the Greek term semantikos, which means meaningful, semainin, to indicate, and sema, a sign or symbol. Next is the ethics. Ethics is the branch of practical philosophy that study the morality of human actions. It examines all aspects of human life, including actions, challenges, and purpose. Understanding ethics helps people live meaningful and fulfilling lives by clarifying the goals and values that guide human existence. Plato described ethics as the highest science because of its importance in shaping human values. The study of ethics is extremely important. It promotes right conduct and strong moral character through which individuals achieve true worth and personal growth.
Is a branch of philosophy that studies beauty and art. It focuses on how people feel and think about what is beautiful. The word aesthetics comes from the Greek word aesthetikos, means understanding things through the senses, feelings, and situation. Example, When a person feels happy and amazed while looking at a painting or sunset, that experience is related to aesthetics. Art and beauty. Art is created by people using their skills and creativity. It has a from meaning and purpose in life. Beauty is a quality in a person's or object that gives pleasures and satisfactions to the senses. Example, painting is art because it is made by an artist. The colors and design that make people feel joy are the beauty or the painting. Philosophical method of investigations. The philosophical method of investigations is way to finding truth by careful thinking, observations, and study. Philosophy uses reasons and evidence that meets our guesses to understand ideas and human behavior. Example, a philosopher may study why people find music beautiful by observing the actions, asking questions, and thinking deeply about human feelings and experience.
A method is a systematical and planned way of studying a phenomenon. It involves understanding time, problem, forming a hypothesis about relationship between variables and testing it through scientific research to obtain reliable results. Philosophical reflection, on the other hand, is based on reflective and critical thinking that anyone can use, not just philosophers. It emphasizes clearly defining the means of terms and ideas before judging whether they are true or false. The earliest approach to gain knowledge was observation and reasoning, which became the foundation for the development of more systematic research methods.
There are 6 methods that were commonly used to study a phenomenon. First is the induction method. So, induction is when we start or learn from specific experiences or observations and then form a general conclusion. In simple terms, we observe patterns and then assume that the pattern will continue. So, for example, as a student, you notice that whenever you study at least 2 hours every night, you get a higher grade score. So, you observe this happening in several subjects, so you conclude studying consistently improves academic performance. The second one is deduction method. So deduction is the opposite of induction. It starts with a general rule or principles and applies it in a specific situation to reach a conclusion. So for example, as a student, there is a general rule that all students who fail the final exam will fail the subject. So a specific case, you fail the final exam, so the conclusion, you fail the subject. The third one is dialect method. So the dialect method is about learning through conflict of ideas. It uses a question and answer approach where ideas clash and through that conflict a better idea emerges. It has 3 parts, which is the thesis, the original idea or initial idea that is incomplete or vague, antithesis, the opposing idea that highlights what the thesis leaves out, and the synthesis, a new improved idea that resolves the conflict. So this method was famously used by Hegel and later by Karl Marx, especially in analyzing social and economic complex. So for example, in thesis, online classes are effective, but in antithesis, online classes are ineffective because students lack purpose. In synthesis, online classes are effective if combined with interactive activities and proper guidance. The key idea is truth develops through conflict and resolution. The fourth one is analytic method. So the analytic method focuses on breaking down the whole into parts to understand how everything works together. It relies on logic, evidence, and verification, not speculation. This method avoids speculation on matters that cannot be proven. Its main goal is to clarity, verification, and logical consistency. So for example, in business analysis, a company profit is decreasing. So using the analytic method, you examine the sales, the costs, marketing expenses, and employee productivity. By analyzing each part, we discover that operating costs are the main problem. So the key idea is understanding the whole by analyzing the parts. The fifth one is romantic method. The romantic method emphasizes feelings, instinct, and emotions rather than pure logic and reasons. It believes that human experiences cannot be fully understood by numbers and logic alone. So for example, a person chooses a job not because it pays more but because it makes them happy and fulfilled. From a romantic view, that choice is valid because it aligns with the inner feelings. Last one is synoptic method. So the synoptic method is about seeing everything as a whole, grasping many ideas in one comprehensive view. So for example, to fully understand a business, you must integrate knowledge from accounting, economics, management, ethics, and psychology. Looking at only one subject gives partial understanding, but viewing them together provides complete insight. So, in conclusion, each philosophical method provides a different way of understanding reality. While no single method is perfect, each one contributes to deeper and more reliable knowledge. So that's all. Thank you.